Alright, let's get this out of the way right off the bat. No, I don't think Sean Layden, who now works at Tencent Games, is doing some sort of 4D chess move to try to pull one over on Sony and get the upper hand in the game wars. No, I don't really think that's what's happening here, and I'm sure there's going to be some people in the comments section saying that. But no, I think what he said on Twitter might be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen an executive in the video game industry say ever. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Sean Layden, the former head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, made one of the dumbest comments I think I've seen an executive ever make. A comment that I'll sum up right here, that basically telling people, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And we've seen time and time again, telling gamers to not buy a game always ends up with them not buying the game. JT. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down Sean Layden saying the really worst thing you could ever say to a community. But in a weird way, might actually benefit him because he doesn't work at Sony anymore, so he doesn't really care if they fail. Earlier this week, during Sony's highly anticipated State of Play event, Sucker Punch revealed Ghost of Yotei, the first sequel to the critically acclaimed Ghost of Tsushima. Rather than continuing the story of Jin, the protagonist of the original game, Ghost of Yotei has taken a leap by jumping centuries into the future and introducing a new heroine, Atsu, a female ronin who adopts a ghost persona. And while Ghost of Yotei promises some stunning visuals and immersive combat in line with its predecessor, the announcement of Atsu as the lead character has sparked considerable backlash among a lot of people, including especially myself. And if you're interested on that take and you missed it, I'll put it above me here. I already covered it. And yes, I am very concerned about the direction that Sucker Punch is taking this series. And what I explained in that video, which people already get mad at me for saying that, makes sense to be concerned, judging by what Sucker Punch and the entire game industry has been doing for the past better part of 10 years or so. Many fans of Ghost of Tsushima were very excited about the possibility of continuing Jin's journey, and when the trailer started, that was the first thing I was thinking as well. I was like, oh my god, Ubisoft's gonna be crapping their pants right now. Ghost of Tsushima 2, Jin continuing his story, this is gonna blow doors, and Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to fail miserably. And then you saw the character get unveiled and the excitement left the room. It was a sharp pivot to go to a female activist, and it's not sitting well with a very vocal segment of the gaming community. We've argued that the shift represents a growing trend of pushing identity politics into beloved franchises at the expense of continuity and storytelling. As expected, the discussion around the game has quickly gained traction on social media, with some users voicing their frustration over the direction the sequel is taking, and which direction, more importantly, it's not. And there's very strong opinions on both sides of this fence, and I can see and understand both sides of it, because when I looked at this initially, I was open to it. I'm like, all right, girl boss mode, whatever. I can look past it being a girl if it makes sense in the context of the story and it doesn't feel shoehorned in and doesn't feel forced. But then the more you find out about Sucker Punch, the people working there, and then how this main protagonist is an activist, and you start to wonder, how'd they get to doing this and what was the decision making behind it? Endymion made a tweet that I actually challenged initially and brought up in my original video covering this, where he said, Ghost of Tsushima sequel stars a Japanese woman samurai warrior because of course it does. They can't help themselves until every franchise that was built on masculinity is replaced by women. Ghost of Yotei is hopefully a smaller spin-off game, but if this is the true sequel and this is the new main character over Jin Sakai, F that. So sick of the forced girl boss narrative, man. And like I said, I challenged that. I was like, whoa, man, I think you're jumping a little too quick into this because we don't know enough information. It was just a trailer, and maybe it makes sense in the story arc, and maybe this is before I understood the future time frame and stuff. I'm like, maybe Jin will appear, and maybe stuff will happen in the game where it makes sense, and our concerns are quelled, and we can move forward and be fine with it. I wouldn't just start throwing knives immediately, being mad at the Sucker Punch, because I trusted them. I didn't feel like they'd steer us wrong, and I felt like they earned us to respect what they were doing with the sequel, whatever they wanted to do with it. But after more information came out, I ended up joining Endymion's side pretty much immediately. To which Mighty Keith, who is not the biggest fan of our side of things, said, "Man, what an absolute loser." And Sean Layden responded underneath that saying, 1, it's a game, and entertainment, a story a team of creators believes in. They want to make this. And 2, it's a game. If you don't like it, don't buy it. In fact, why not make the game you want yourself? Which is the worst thing you could possibly say to a gamer. Because here's the thing. Okay, 1, I'm not a developer, nor do I plan to be one, nor do I try to pretend to be one. I understand how much work and effort and basically your life has to revolve around that. And I have a lot of respect, as much as I knock developers all the time. I have a lot of respect for the developers that actually put their passion into the work without injecting politics and agendas into their games and their ideologies. If you're a good developer, and there are a lot of good ones out there that go unnoticed all the time, I have nothing but respect for you because I understand. I've been in the game industry. I did QA testing, game master. I worked in recruiting. I've done a lot of things in the game industry. I've seen developers, and I don't want to do that. So telling gamers to just pick up a computer and start typing away and coding in C++ and become a developer and make your own game, it's very short-sighted because gamers are gamers. Not all gamers want to be developers. Some gamers just love the games they play. And telling them to do it yourself? I don't go to a restaurant and eat really bad food and then say to the chef, "Hey, that's not good. I think you need to hire better chefs." And they say, "Oh, why don't you just become a chef and create better food?" It's like, no, I don't have time to do that, but I do like delicious food and I like going to restaurants, so I'm not going to go to this restaurant anymore. While Layden's response was definitely intended to defend the creative decisions of the development team, it definitely has not resonated well for the majority of gamers out there. Kazuma Mishima said, "Yep, prepare for disappointment. You will come back later crawling to beg for forgiveness by telling us you will cast back Jin as the protagonist, but that time it will be too late. See you crying soon." Anti-Commie Gamer said, "I will prepare for 2025 for sure, but not for this game. You guys continue to choose intersectionality religion over your fans and customers. You continue to show you hate white males and man in general. We will no longer accept this destructive and dangerous ideology. Boycott," and includes a screenshot of a lot of the things that I've been referencing and concerned about when it comes to the person they cast to be the main protagonist and the overall direction of gaming in general over the past decade or so. Saying "don't buy it" feels dismissive and completely out of touch with the concerns of the community, and it suggests that criticism of creative direction is irrelevant. And this points to a much bigger problem in the game industry right now, where everyone's so flippantly dismissive of criticism. Gamers aren't always angry. Gamers are passionate. We love our games. Like I said in my original take on this, Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time. And to see this happen to it, I'm just kind of like, ugh. Are we really letting ideologies take over the forefront of incredible game experiences? Again, not saying that a girl being the main protagonist couldn't work. I'm just saying it kind of feels shoehorned in based off of everything we're seeing. And no, that doesn't make me a bigot. That makes me a realist, looking at the facts and the situation and understanding everything that's going into the creation of the game and saying, yeah, I'm not down with this. The reaction from the entire game community from Sean Layden's response highlights a very significant challenge that Ghost of Yotei is going to be facing in 2025. When fans of this established franchise feel overlooked or dismissed, it's going to create a lasting rift. And we've seen it before. It's not the first time. Last of Us Part 2, Mass Effect, Andromeda. Like, there are countless examples where a game series goes completely woke and turns off an entire giant portion of the game community because they're not down with that. And we see it happening time and time again, example after example. And we keep saying, stop doing this, and you keep doing this. It's not going to end well. It just doesn't. So you can call gamers bigots all you want and say that they're the problem and point to them as being awful people. But at the end of the day, your sales are going to suffer. And the realization is you should have done what gamers wanted in the first place. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information on this wild tweet from the former head of Sony Interactive, it blew my mind when I saw that. That is crazy. Coming down to say that to everyone is telling them not to buy a game if they don't like it. It's just it's so childish. It's something I would never say. It's something I would say when I was like 12 or something. Don't like it, don't buy it. It's just, I don't know. It's really weird. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. It goes into a lot more detail here. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing. Smash.